I really do think we're watching a president unravel on the world stage.
Clip from CTV News I'm going to react to here. Most of it is talking about this man on screen there, Scott Reid. They're talking about Trump's recent threat of 100% tariffs on Canada.
Let's now bring in CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Morning, Scott. Good to see you.
Morning.
So an interesting turn of events here after Trump just last week said Canada should indeed go ahead and make the deal with China. Are you surprised by this response from Trump, and why do you think he changed his mind here?
Cue the Trump derangement syndrome. What do statements like this do for Canada? You tell me.
I'd like to say I'm terribly surprised, but I'm not. I mean, this is sort of standard Donald Trump reliability, Donald Trump's signature consistency and predictability of thought. Look, you know, the challenge we face is that Donald Trump is clearly in an erratic phase right now. And I think it is important to put these comments about Canada in the context of Donald Trump's week. He's under severe pressure at home. His approval ratings are falling steeply. He had a humiliating reversal on the world stage at Davos over Greenland. He's being repudiated around the world. Keir Starmer, Prince Harry, other leaders for his incredibly ignorant and disrespectful comments.
The thing is, I bet you Scott Reid and other people like him that get on TV and spout this Trump derangement syndrome, they probably think they're Canadian patriots. This actually makes me sick. This is destructive to our country. How much more are we going to keep prodding the United States? It's pathetic. What do you think American officials, not just Trump, but people that have Trump's ear, will think when they hear that crap? He's under a bunch of pressure at home. He's always under some degree of pressure. He's the president. A lot of Americans are Democrats. That's natural. I don't even know what he's talking about. And it's not like Trump has some crazy, crazy low approval rating at the moment. He's just kind of humming along. It's the ups and downs of being a president. America's not in some crisis. They're not. Their economy is doing fine. There's no crazy inflation. Their stock market is doing fine. This is such dishonest framing from Scott Reid here.
It's about 9/11, Afghanistan, and the contributions of other NATO allies, who, like Canada, we lost 157 troops in that, coming in an Article 5 invocation to the support of the United States. Donald Trump is like a metal plate in a microwave. He is just snapping and lighting up and firing in all directions these days. And so it is difficult, as serious as this is, this threat, it's difficult to know how serious you need to take it.
Well, with that said, how likely do you think Carney is?
Again, who is that good for, that statement, that rant he just went on of roughly maybe 40, 45 seconds? Who is that good for? Is that good for the average Canadian worker that has to deal with all this stuff? Maybe this guy, like that statement is terrible, what he just said there. It cannot be overstated how reckless the people that go on these Canadian mainstream networks are. Like, what are you doing? Who is that for? Is that so you can brag at a dinner party later tonight that you showed Trump, you stood up to Trump?
To backtrack on the deal.
I don't know if he'll backtrack. That would be very difficult. But I think in some ways this validates the wisdom of trying to get that deal, and that it obviously provides him with some leverage. Trump is telecasting. He is telegraphing that he is bothered by it, even if he wasn't at first instance, even if he didn't have the shrewdness to recognize at the time that this does.
Yeah, now he calls Trump an idiot. He didn't have the shrewdness to recognize at the time. Oh my gosh, this is so pathetic and it's so bad. The reason I'm making this video and why I'm emotional about this is so bad for the average Canadian. There's no benefit to doing this. This is for his own ego, and I think to brag to his friends that he's standing up to Trump. Canada is so dependent on America. We need a good relationship with them. This makes it way worse. This is unpatriotic behavior.
Provide some ballast for Canada. And so I think, what we'll see is the China deal, particularly with respect to EVs, probably becomes something of a bargaining chip in these discussions with the USMCA. This is the first bolt across the bow. Trump likes to brag about the art of the deal and how he huffs and puffs and bullies people and then moves them to a different place. I think by going in and getting this deal, Carney has created a chip that he can effectively take off of the table in CUSMA discussions with Trump, and that would be my prediction as to how this unfolds.
Is this hurting Canada's reputation while negotiating?
Yes, the answer is unequivocally yes, because it really only one country matters to Canada. That's overstating it, but one country matters way more than every other country. All the economic numbers back that up, all the trade numbers back that up. Canada's reputation matters more to America by far, literally than every other country combined economically. So yes, because now Carney, with that brilliant speech at Davos, how is he not, in a public sense, the number one country trying to humiliate Trump and embarrass Trump with that speech at Davos? Canada, Carney, moved us into number one. Why would Trump now do favors for Canada?
I don't think it's hurting Canada's reputation. I mean, Canada's reputation right now is, if anything, strengthened.
The bubble these people live in is disgusting. I wonder what they talk about with their friends. It's such a bubble.
They're watching what's happening. They're seeing Trump attack Keir Starmer, NATO, obviously Greenland, Denmark. In this suite of posts that he put out 70 posts the night before last in his return from Davos, all over the place. And in that, he's praising the Chinese president. Now he's saying any trucker trade with the Chinese president is evidence of malfeasance. So I don't think that it's Canada's reputation that's at risk. I really do think we're watching a president unravel on the world stage. And to be honest with you, my prediction is...
How long have they been saying that about Trump? Man, this guy is quite the political commentator. Does this guy even follow politics?
He's only going to be more acidic, more attacking, more unpredictable in his postings and his policies as he feels the domestic and international pressure. This is a guy who feels hunted right now, and his only response is to attack and bite.
Man, what world is this guy, Scott Reid, living in? I feel bad, too, for the people that just exclusively watch CBC, CTV, the Canadians. I mean, this is just fear porn. Like, what world does he live in? I went over some of the economic, not really numbers, but just the economic framework, or the economic landscape rather, in America. It's not bad. He's acting like there's some crisis. There's no crisis in America. There's a looming crisis in Canada if we can't figure out a way to repair this relationship, and fast. But this guy is actually explaining something that's totally alternate to reality. There should be a fact checker that comes out here and says, no, we need to say something else about this because that was not honest.
Seems to be getting a little bit personal here, with Trump referring to Carney as Governor Carney. What's your take on that?
I'm glad you raised it, because it's a very important point. This is the first time that Trump, to my recollection, has referred to Carney as governor. It was a denigrating term that he applied to Justin Trudeau. So it's clearly a signal. In many respects, it's probably a response to the Davos speech. Trump reads... Finally
you got there. To me, it's clearly a response to that. Why would Trump like that speech?
Lines voraciously. He recognizes that Carney captured something on the international stage, and that in large part it was in response to his erraticism. He's noticing that contrast. He does not appreciate that contrast. He is all ego all the time. And in that sense, there is risk, obviously, for Canada. On the other hand, you do get the sense that Trump...
Again, is he projecting? Why is this all just about the personalities of Trump? This feels so disconnected from the experience of the average Canadian. Talking about, like, Carney's upstaging Trump on the world stage. Who cares? What is going to be the policy for Canadians? Who cares about the egos of these people?
Leverage over others is starting to diminish. Yes, we're going to have to punch our way through negotiations with him, but increasingly this looks like a president who is isolated politically, isolated diplomatically, and we'll have to see how he manages himself economically.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to just play that like 10 seconds again, because that sums up. This is pure Trump derangement syndrome. This guy, Scott Reid, this is unpatriotic, these statements. They are very unpatriotic.
Negotiations with him, but increasingly this looks like a president who is isolated politically, isolated diplomatically, and we'll have to see how he manages himself economically.
All right, we'll leave it.
Okay, that's so crazy. In what universe is he isolated? The framing he's setting up of the world does not exist. Even if America was isolated, which it's not, even if it just traded amongst itself, it's doing way better than Canada. This is so absurd. Obviously, I do not approve of really anything Scott Reid said in this segment, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.